Hey, well, welcome back to the Carpet Cleaner Success Podcast. I'm your host, John Clendenning here. And with me today, I have got Boris Ostrowski, if I pronounced that correctly, Boris. And he's the owner and founder of VepoClean, which is a maid service in New Jersey and New York, Manhattan area, and starting to franchise across the United States. So very exciting stuff. So welcome to the podcast, Boris. I'm sure our listeners are going to love hearing your story, what you're all about, and where you're going with the business.
Welcome to the Carpet Cleaner Success Podcast, a show created to inspire carpet cleaning business owners to build their own thriving residential and commercial cleaning business. Your host, John Clendenning, has built and sold successful cleaning businesses for multiple six figures over his 30-year career and is the founder of Carpet Cleaner Marketing Masters, a digital agency that turns your online marketing into a lead generation machine. Tune in as John shares proven tips, strategies, and expert interviews to help fast-track your success in the carpet cleaning industry.
Welcome. Tell us a little bit about Boris and the business.
Yeah, thank you so much, John. Thank you for having this podcast with me. I really, really appreciate it. And, we've been having the business relation for the past, 3 years? And absolutely love working with you guys. It's been an amazing journey. And, we've been in business for over 10 years now, developing this location here in New Jersey, New York area.
Yep.
And it started small, but now it's kind of big. And I realized that I have the mentor type of personality, and I love passing the knowledge and passing the success to other people. And that's what I really want to be in the franchise business, as well as a cleaning business, of course. It's just that cleaning is really just a vehicle, but it's really the lifestyle that I'm after. Right. I want to provide that lifestyle for the people, and so that I feel like they have that entrepreneur lifestyle that a lot of people are dreaming of. If they're 9 to 5, or they're doing something else and not happy, they're in operations all the time. So that's what I really bring to the table.
Yeah. No, and I think that's awesome. Because your story is really cool. Like, again, 10 years, I didn't actually know it was that long.
Almost 10
I
years,
probably knew at one point, I forgot. But you guys have a really unique focus. When I first met you and kind of learned about VepoClean, you do things differently. You have a kind of a unique approach to the cleaning, the spa-like experience, and all of that kind of stuff. Where did that come from? Like, what was the whole idea behind sort of not just being a maid service and just going in and cleaning, but actually having a different experience for the homeowner?
Sure. So actually, it's funny how the world works, right? Because I know the toughest thing in this business now is recruiting, right?
Yeah.
We have a great system on how to recruit, but anyway, when I started, I knew nothing about it, right? So I gave, out of all places, I gave an ad on Craigslist. This was 2014, right?
Okay.
So on Craigslist in my area, it would be the last thing I would do right now. But I gave an ad on Craigslist, and the first person I ever interviewed, I remember as it was yesterday, she walked into Dunkin' Donuts, and I was sitting there waiting for her. I didn't have any clients yet. I only had a concept, some sort of an idea of a concept, right?
Yeah.
She walks in, I started talking, I'm like, oh, she's probably too old, probably not a good, probably not a good candidate, but whatever. I started talking to her and I gave her a chance. And she ended up to be, without exaggeration, John, she's probably the best professional cleaner in the whole country, if not the world. I swear to God. She's that good. Yeah, I don't think any less of her. And these are not just the words. This is the true story.
And she's still with you today?
She's a consultant. Yeah, she's a consultant with
awesome.
She worked with us for 5-6 years. That actually one of our partners that we work with, one of the property management companies, huge one, national brand. So she went to work for them.
Okay.
I didn't mind, she needed her 401k, she needed her pension. She's already retired, but she still does some consulting for us.
Yeah.
So so I started with her, and the whole methodology kind of was born from there. And I packaged it so it can be presented well.
Yeah.
But the core of it, I mean, it's simple, but it's something like nobody else does, right? So I ran it off you in the past couple of months. It's called Clean 5.1.
Yeah.
Right. So actually, the way we clean is that You know how people don't take a shower with the baby wipe, right?
Yeah.
You ever try that? You can do it
Yeah,
unless
no,
you're on the gas station somewhere, right?
exactly.
But that's how people clean actually, right? When they use the spray and the towel, or they use the duster, you know,
Yeah, or
that's
their little
doing
Swiffer
this.
mops with a tiny little drop of moisture on them. And yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. So
yeah,
when people use, Windex, makes me laugh. Or
yeah,
when I see an ad with, with a maid, or with a duster,
dust it. Yeah.
that makes me laugh a little bit, because all she does is she wipes it off and it drops
It
right back,
pushes it into
right?
the air and you're breathing it in and it gets back on everything
Exactly.
again once it settles. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly right. Yeah, and with bathrooms and kitchens, the same thing. Like, people spray and they wipe. People spray and
yeah,
they wipe. It's equivalent of taking a shower with a baby wipe, right?
yeah,
So what we do is actually we give the kitchen and the bathrooms, we give it a wash that they deserve, right? We
yeah,
actually wash it with water, soap and water and a sponge. We wash it, then we wipe it with a wet towel, and then we detail with a dry towel.
yeah.
And not only it's more efficient, but the results are amazing.
Yeah.
So
And
it's simple, but it's packaged,
and
right?
it makes sense because it's so what I've talked about for years is delivering that client experience. So there's things you do that have to be unique or compelling. I actually call it a compelling sales proposition versus a unique one. A unique one, you could be the only maid service around or carpet cleaning service that dress up like clowns. It's unique, but there's nothing compelling about it. But if you're compelling, you have you have a special way of doing things. You package it up, you create an experience for your clients that are different. These things don't cost a lot extra. They might take a few 10, 15 minutes longer to do in the home, but the wow factor that builds the company. You guys tapped into that early on. I love the fact that you didn't even have a business yet and you're already hiring or meeting with people to grow the business, because that's the entrepreneurial spirit. It's like, hey, I've got an idea. I'm not going to be the guy out there cleaning, right? I'm going to hire the people, but I've got an idea and a concept, and let's grow with it. And you found the right person to bounce
Yeah,
that
it's
off of.
amazing. You
And
know how the universe just brings you stuff
yeah, yeah,
when you
you
just
got to
kind of
take
get up
action
and do it.
when you actually implement
Right.
and put out. It's always they talk about, yeah, the Secret, the movie The Secret, or the Power of
Exactly, because
Manifesting.
I didn't think
Yeah,
finding people was difficult, so I
yeah,
just kind of did it.
yeah,
When like when you don't see challenges, it just kind of happens to you.
yeah.
That's how universe works, and that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. You've got to put it out there, but then you've also got to do the work. That's that missing
Oh, of
piece of The
course,
Secret is
absolutely, yeah.
you actually got to go meet the person at the Dunkin' Donuts. You actually have to.
Right,
You
right, of
can't just
course, yeah.
wait for it to fall in your lap, right? And
Right,
so that's
exactly.
a good lesson for the people listening too. Is like, we've all got these ideas, but you got to leave the house. You got to get out from behind the computer and actually go and meet people and do things and stuff like that. So that was the starting of it, and 10 years ago, and even getting into those condos and becoming sort of a cleaning professional for the residents of condos was kind of a unique angle as well. Because again, I ran 3 different Molly Maid franchises for a period of time. We bought them, built them up, and sold them in the middle of my journey.
Mhm.
Never thought of that. Like, that was we did a whole bunch of other stuff to deliver a great client experience, but never thought of, hey, why don't we kind of get into these condo buildings and go after that crowd, because all the residents in the building would be viable cleaning candidates, right?
Exactly.
So
That's leverage. That's marketing leverage 101, right?
it is, yeah, one to many,
First
one
of
to
all,
many.
you get the legitimacy of the property manager, right? You get the
Yeah,
legitimacy of the people that work in the building. They already trust them. So,
yeah,
it's by affiliation, right? Trust by affiliation.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
one
You
thing.
get that
Two,
that perceived endorsement. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and the second thing is that for the property managers, why it's good is because it makes their properties stand out more. You
yeah,
get, you offer this service, you have a gym, you have a pool, you have a 24-hour concierge, or you also have a maid service on site,
yeah.
so that's
No,
another.
and I think it's a great value add that most people don't think of. And then put that with your branding and your colors and your logos. It's professional. It's not a bunch of people in jeans and a t-shirt. Like, it's all thought
Yeah.
through well. So now you look like the cleaner that somebody, like a maid service that somebody in a condo who's paying the big bucks to be there and be part of that whole environment is going to go,
Mhm.
yeah, and I want these guys, right? Of course they could call somebody
Of
else
course.
in and all
Yeah,
that, but you guys are on site and the endorsed person, right? So, and
exactly.
from a technical standpoint, I love the idea that it also gives you a legitimate additional location for Google Maps and that kind of thing as well, because you
That's exactly.
legitimately have offices in these locations, right? So
Yeah.
it actually from a technical standpoint, I love that.
It's a staff room, you know.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's just a closet, which is good enough. But it's
Yeah.
still, you know, it's still located.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can still pass the mustard. So that was a little bit about the marketing, because again, maid servers are a dime a dozen. I know from owning them. So either are going to try and be the discount, like these $19 whole home cleaning ads that you see now, or you're going to go the other way and say, hey, we don't want the volume of discount and rattling through a whole bunch of employees that don't like the work and rattling through a whole bunch of customers that are just cheap people, and then trying to make that slight margin on huge volume. We'd rather, you know, make good margin, doing a great job and hiring the right people that can be paid well and stick around, because hiring such a problem. And all of that comes from better marketing, right? So you have to market to the better crowd, the higher, more affluent crowd. They speak differently, they hang out with different people, they like the marketing's different. So I know you've done a few magazines like Hoboken Girl and stuff like that. What else, like what kind of marketing have you done to make that VepoClean experience, that spa-like cleaning experience with water filtration vacuums instead of dust filling stuff? Like, how have you told this story to the marketplace? What are the ways
So
that you do it?
I forgot to mention the 0.1 aspect of the Clean 5.1. So that's of course our
5.1
water filtration system. Yeah. So that's the vacuum that we use. We're the only company in the industry that uses that.
Yeah.
So that, coupled with the methodology that I described for kitchen and bathrooms, that's what makes us the only company that really provides, you know, generally organic and generally clean and generally, you know.
And now how do you get that message out? What are some of the things that you guys do that that get that message into the marketplace and have people share, you know, and refer you and all of that stuff? Like, what is the process?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the beginning, of course, we did a lot of guerrilla marketing. We did a lot of flyers, you know, we did a lot of door hangers. Our first client was actually the original idea was to kind of market, to have that concept of online or, you know, on-site housekeeping to the luxury communities, to multifamily buildings, and that's where we really kind of started, right? And you know, I remember I had Achilles tendon surgery.
Okay.
As I was starting the business, right? And, thank God.
So now you're hobbling around with a boot on.
Exactly. So my first meeting with the property manager, I was actually bleeding all the way, because they just, you know, it's a brand new building, and I remember they were installing some glass table in the lobby.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm walking there. You know, he gave me a tour like of the building and showed me some apartments. And I'm walking there, and it's a glass table, you know, that the guys are installing, and I trip over the table.
Oh no.
my Achilles, you know, scar opened, and I'm walking, I'm bleeding all over the place. I was like, wow, you know, that was bad. But you know, we ended up working together. We're still working with that building. It's a brand, you know, it's already 10 years of working in that building. So it has almost 500 apartments. So that's how we kind of started. We started in that you know, in that space. But then as we grew, we saw that, you know, the demand for the service is actually pretty big. You know, people started posting it, people started talking about it. We did a couple of videos.
Yeah.
Some were professionals and some were, you know, on an iPhone. And the word got around, and you know, people love coming back. It smells nice. We do aromatherapy as a complimentary part of our service. We do like a little presentation. We'll leave a little candy behind when we leave. You know, we try to tend to everything so that people feel like we were there. Like, for example, if the cable is just hanging there, you know, we try to, the best we could, we try
tuck
to
it away and
roll it and put it nicely.
Yeah.
You know, if towels are hanging, we try to make you know, some sort of a presentation, like you know, like in a spa, like in a hotel.
Yeah.
So these are the type of things that when people walk in, first of all, they smell, right? So we try to appeal to the senses, right? So there are 5 senses that we have, right? So we try to appeal to 3 of them, right? 1 is sight, 2 is smell, and 3 is taste.
Yeah.
Right. We can appeal to the hearing, because there's nothing we can do. You know, we can leave the orchestra, you know. But as many senses that we can appeal to the client when they walk in, you know, we try to make them remember us.
Yeah, and I mean, again, all of that stuff, like it fits into cleaning theory when we talked about before, you and I one-on-one. It's like when something's clean, it smells nice. And when it smells nice, we think it's clean. So you're
I love that.
basically saying, hey, let's connect those dots when somebody walks in. Let's create a remarkable experience, which stands for let's have them remark on it, tell other people about it. If you just provide an average service with, average employees doing average things,
Yeah.
you're going to have an average result, if at all. But if you actually think through how to build a almost like again, now you're making it into a franchise, but when you even start a business, like how would you franchise what you do? How would you make it so predictable that everybody walks into Starbucks, the coffee's the same no matter where in the world they go in? They go into McDonald's, they go into whatever, and it's the experience is designed by the business owner and the business to deliver that result. And then it supercharges the marketing. Some people go, well, my marketing is, maybe a little sluggish. Well, it's also could be because your reputation's a little bit sluggish. Your reviews are a little bit sluggish. Nobody's talking about you. They're not getting done and going, wow, that was amazing. And when you think those things through, it all is marketing. It's the crews and the vehicles and the uniforms and how you leave a job site and all of that. All of it is a moment of marketing, because marketing is just impressing upon your customers and your potential customers your brand in a positive light. That is what marketing is. So anything you do to do that is helpful, which kind of leads us into the next question. So operationally, some people say to me, it's like, well, John, that's all nice. I know you used to have your technicians go out in shirts and ties, and then they had their booties they put on to walk around, and then they rolled out the red carpet, and then they switched into their indoor shoes, and they had a bunch of these different little moments throughout the home of presenting something, and at the end of it, giving over the gift and all of that kind of stuff. And you taught your technicians, as best you could to do that every single time and rewarded them for it, carrot in the stick, make it, but operationally, how would I ever do that to make the business run the way it needs to, right? I learned from a guy, Ken Glickman, years ago from a book called iPower, and I saw him speak a bunch of times, make it easier for them to do it right than do it wrong. And you're solving most of the problems. But what would you do? Well, like operationally, if for say, any cleaning service, maid service, listening to this call, they're going, yeah, that sounds great, Boris. But unless you've got like, a whip in your hand, how are you getting them to actually do this? Because I can't find cleaners to do that.
I love that phrase, by the way. I use it not exactly the same words as you just put it, to make it easier to do it right and do it wrong.
Yeah.
That I tell them this on every meeting, right? If you follow the process, you will actually work less and you will actually work easier.
Yeah.
Because our process is that efficient, right?
Yeah.
So you want to be efficient, and if you work efficiently, then you work less and you tire less. You can spend more time with your kids, and you have more energy when you come back, right?
Yeah.
So getting back to the operations, I'm a little bit fanatical about the order in the business, right?
Yeah.
So I have a system for if you could make a system for, I don't know, the most simple things in life, I like to document it, and I like to have a training on it if it's part of the if it's part of the day-to-day, and then test them on it, right? And then quality control it, of course, to make sure that it's followed, right?
Yep.
So to this day, it's been 10 years, but to this day, we still perfect our system, right? So new rules come out, like a new rule came out in the company this week. Not a rule, but a best practice, right? Like, for example, cleanings over 3 hours are mandatory quality control and mandatory client sign off, right? Because we had an issue with. Well,
it makes sense. If you're in a place long, there's a point at which somebody's kind of mentally checking out a little bit.
Exactly. So, So, this client, it was obvious that it was it was her goal to get a free cleaning, and she got a free cleaning. So I feel like, for the 400, it was a $400 lesson that I learned.
Yeah.
Right. So
those are some of the best lessons to learn. You make it right by the customer, even if the customer is wacky. That's all fine, because you don't want the negative review. You make it right by the customer, solve the problem on the back end. It's okay to have a problem once. If it happens second, third, fourth time, now you got a real problem. The first time you've got something to solve. It's almost like, hey, I'm happy. I've got a new thing I didn't think of that I now need to find a solution for. So cool. Carry on. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so so operationally, so we have, first of all, obviously we have, we have a very, very clear, standard operating procedure
Yeah.
that we, when we bring a new hire, we have a standard operating procedure for onboarding, for hiring, for training,
Yeah.
for everything, right? Then we have quality control. We have, a person that her sole job is to do
Okay.
quality control. If she's sick like today, I did some quality control and I still have a couple more to go to, right?
Okay.
So quality control is super, super important, independent quality control, right?
Yeah.
So when we have a quality control person who is, who does only that,
Yeah.
she's not even, I mean, as sucks as it is, she's not even allowed to kind of have fun and associate with the team because she wants to be, we want to independent, right? So
That
we
makes
have a
sense. That's
Christmas
a good
party.
idea. Yeah.
She's not coming to the Christmas party, because her, her position doesn't
Yeah, that kind of
allow,
sucks, but yeah,
that
I get where
because
you're
we
coming
want to
from.
keep it pure,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that's, just these are just some examples. And of course, we have ongoing trainings,
Yeah.
we have testing, we have all sorts of things that, that making sure that, the job is consistent and we do it right and we do it right the first time.
That's brilliant.
So
Because
that's,
yeah,
and
it
for the
also tells.
owner, like for me, right? I'm
Yep.
into a lifestyle, right? I love,
Yep.
like I just came back. I was in the Alps for a couple of weeks, right?
Yep.
And the business is running, the business is growing, right?
Yeah.
So I want the owner. So the whole concept, the whole reason for franchising, right?
Yep.
And I know you buy a franchise, I don't, you're pretty business savvy, but a lot of people, it's their first business, they
Yeah.
want, they want somebody to hold their hand. And unfortunately, a lot of franchises that I've witnessed, they buy themselves a job, right? They
Yeah.
buy themselves a business that they start to hate, they're starting to hate after 3 months,
Yep.
This is not the lifestyle that I want for our franchisees, right?
No.
I want I want them to have a free time. I want them to spend time with their kids. And these are not just words. These are not just, I have the specific tools that
Yeah.
will allow them to do that. The same tools that I use, right?
Yeah.
So,
And it's part about being rigorous as well. Like you held yourself and your staff to a standard. It isn't just like, okay, yeah, do whatever. Hopefully they don't complain. Whatever. You like, how do you clean? How do you bring the equipment into the location? How do you pack the car? How do you like everything becomes a system. Therefore, you as the business owner can go away and go, my system is running. And if my system, if somebody doesn't follow my system, there's a people problem. We have discipline, or there's a system problem. We have something to fix. But it's manageable and controllable, and it's not just a wild card happening and hopefully, running by the seat of your pants, which I see a lot of businesses, they really think that everything can just run by the seat of their pants. There's a whole movement right now about there's YouTube channels and people, young kids talking about, or young people talking about how you can start up a cleaning business, maid service, carpet cleaning, whatever, remotely. Just hire somebody remotely, run Facebook ads, and you'll just be busy and raking in the money. None of that is building a business. Everything you and I just talked about is how you build the framework of a business that gives you the freedom, and the lifestyle you want down the road, as fast as you can iterate and get it in place, is as fast as you can go, there it is. There's that peace of mind I was looking for. Starting a business is bootstrapping, and there's a lot of work because you're starting something new, but it's the whole thing. But it's a franchise gives you, and trainings like these videos and stuff like that give you a step up going, oh, let me think about that and put that in place next. So, and now
Yeah.
you've got something that makes it easier to do it right than do it wrong, right? So
I see two big components to this business, right? It's is for the owner, right?
Yeah.
It's establishing the culture, right?
Yeah.
Because the culture is super important, right?
Yeah.
And establishing marketing, right? So
Yep.
these two components, it's not really operations, right? It's the system that runs the culture, because you can't just tell your staff, okay, do this, and that. You have to have it written.
Yeah.
You got to have an official training. You got to have the official testing. You got to have official quality control. Otherwise, if you just and ongoing education, right? So we have a meeting. We have a weekly meeting with the staff, right?
Yeah.
Where a lot of times, like 90% of the times, I really repeat the same things, but it's necessary because it's part of the culture, right? Because more like to kids, the more you tell them, they think it's serious, and they take it seriously. If you're selling once somewhere, off your cuff, they're not going to take it seriously. Going to forget about it the next day. Not
Yeah.
even the next day. They're going to forget about this the next minute.
Yeah. And
Right.
they
So you
know
have
you're
to really
serious. They know you're
you gotta
serious when you
cultivate this
repeat it.
culture.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I said they know you're serious when you keep repeating it. It's sort of like,
Exactly.
like everybody says, having core values in your company and having a mission and all those kinds of things. Oh, that's just garbage. That's just words on the wall. But no, it's words on the wall unless you repeat it over and over again and live by it and show when somebody, you reward somebody when they do well. Hey, we have one of our core values is helping others. And Janice came and stepped in and helped when this person was sick. And, her day was done at 2, but she came in and worked for an extra couple of hours to solve the problem, keep the company running, and help out one of her fellow employees. She showed one of our core values. She showed one of our, help. And now you've got something to reward people on and make them happy and feel good about coming to work every day because they're part of a culture that they know what they're supposed to do, where and when. So it is weird that the analogy, like sort of like pets, as we kids say, like training pets and stuff like that. It's funny. I know some people that don't train their dogs or whatever. They go out for a walk and the dog's all over the place and getting underneath people on the trail. And, you have to pull them back because they're almost underneath the bike. And the dog's anxious. The dog is like excited. The dog is like out of their element. You got other people that have trained their animals. The dog walks beside, happier than a pig in shit, as they say, walking right beside the owner. Another person walks past, the bike goes past, the dog's just, I'm just happy. I'm standing with this guy and this guy trained me what to do. And they're more comfortable in their environment. They're less anxious.
They don't have to
happier
think.
and healthier.
They don't have to make decisions.
So, yeah.
They don't have, because if they have, if they have a process, if they have operational know-how and they know exactly what they need to do, there's less thinking.
Yeah.
Right. They just kind of do it on instinct almost.
Yeah. So that gets us kind of near the wrapping up here. Like to ask about sort of some of those wins and pitfalls that maybe some of the audience should think, because we've talked about a bunch of them already, like in that whole cleaner business owner journey, because you got to be a business owner, not your goal is not to wear the hat, even if you just start out and you want to go out and be the maid in your own maid service, your home cleaning. But if your goal is to build the business, that you've got to stop being the cleaner really early on, hire people and build. So what are some of these sort of those wins and pitfalls in your journey that you would maybe help guide somebody who's just starting out, whether it's a new franchisee or just somebody who's starting their own cleaning service right now, just kind of avoid sort of, some of the pitfalls that might come up early on?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. If I had to start over again,
Yeah,
I probably wouldn't do it.
Okay.
I probably wouldn't do it because how hard it is to start from scratch.
Yeah.
Because literally, I'm like a big travel enthusiast, right? So from day one, I knew I had to leverage other people. I had to leverage, other resources. So I remember I was traveling and I was sitting there, answering phone calls, making schedule. So I was so much into my business that I didn't see what was going around me. So starting from scratch, I don't think I would do it again. But now that I already kind of got the big foundation, like before you break ground, you gotta build a foundation, right? And that's what's beautiful about the franchise, right? So I already burned so much money on wrong marketing, on wrong decisions, wrong products, wrong this, wrong that. That it's a beautiful thing to have somebody come in and kind of give you a turnkey
system and process
system to follow, right?
Yeah.
Plus, as I said, I was doing the scheduling, I was doing the billing, I was doing the calling, I was doing sales. People were calling me. I was in Europe. People were calling me. I didn't have a break, right? Now we have the central call center that takes care of all of that. Right. So if somebody's starting out and wants to open a franchise, not only do they get all the know-how and the business system and the training and all of that, they also get to leverage our call center. That would eliminate 80%. I swear to God, that would eliminate probably 80% of the work that I did in the first 6 months. Right. So we do sales for them. We do cold calling. We do customer service, invoicing, billing, scheduling, which is a full-time job on its own when you grow, right? Because
and knowing somebody starting out, knowing what software they want to use and scripts and how to answer the phone and why. Like, again, I always talk about the foundation of in our blueprint for success training. The foundation of any great business, again, is your compelling sales proposition. When you buy into a franchise or a story, you've already got that. You've got your risk reversal guarantee. What do you guarantee the audience that is, your clientele? What do you guarantee them that actually stands out and means something? That's a risk reverse. It becomes a marketing message, right? So when you either have to think of that on your own when you're an independent, or that's what an operation when you buy into a franchise or a licensing should give you. You've got your founder's story. Well, it's sort of like, well, the company started this way. I joined it because of this. There's your founder's story, right? And then the other thing you all need, the fourth piece of your brand built, like your foundation is the brand. You have to have a brand message and colors and logos and story and wording that fits and targets your ideal target customer. So somebody has to think through. And if you're starting your own business, or if you're already in business and you're hearing this going, John, I've done none of that. If you've missed the foundation of running before, again, as Boris just said, if you miss the foundation, you can't, the entire rest of the business you've built is on a house of cards. It's because the foundation doesn't support your lead outreach. It doesn't support your service delivery. It doesn't support your follow-up, your repeat and referral marketing, because you don't have those pieces. So no, I do like, I've owned franchises over the years, good ones and bad ones. I've been in a bunch of different franchises. I've owned independent businesses. And again, weighing both, I would actually be a person, there's probably an age-related thing to that, but I would rather buy an existing business and either runs well and just take it over, boom, turnkey, or buy an existing business that's mostly run well, that needs a bit of tweaking. If I was buying an independent and not into a franchise, I would buy something that I could go in and go, okay, that's good. All of this needs fixed, but we've got a starting point and revenue coming in and a business model already in place. Let's take that proven model and make it better. If it was an independent or if it's a franchise, let's take that proven model and add my personality and flair and love of my own local community to that business model, and join the chamber and join the BNIs and go tell everybody my story and knock on doors and go to condos and follow the plan and build the business, hire the right people, train them the right way with the weekly meetings. If I've never run one, I got a plan on how to run a weekly meeting and keep people accountable and that kind of stuff. So yeah. And again, not meant to be a sales pitch for the franchise, kind of a sales pitch for the franchise, because if you've got that story figured out, then buying into it is good. If you're an independent trying to grow your business, watching this carpet cleaning, maid cleaning, anything, these are all the things of working on your business versus in it that Boris has already done. This is Michael Gerber's E-Myth 101 and all of that other training that if you're not reading and learning and listening to audio and going, oh, that's a great one, let me put that on my action plan, and having 90-day windows of implementing things and sprints and all. If you're not doing any of that, you're literally just running year one over and over. Oh, the economy went up. Oh, the economy went down. And you're not actually generating that lifestyle business that allows you to travel.
You're in a rat race, especially if you're an independent cleaner, right? Like I belong to a couple of those groups on Facebook, where they have, the industry. And I see that people, people are struggling, people struggle with clients, with customer service, juggling many things at once, trying to do sales, trying to do customer service, trying to do the cleaning. It's just too much. It's a big, if you want it to run well, like a well-oiled machine, you need the foundation. Absolutely.
You do. Yeah. You need to target your ideal customer, who they are.
Knowledge. And it's the way of thinking, really. Right?
It is.
It's a lot of it is the way of thinking, right? So a lot of like this is not for everybody. The way it's not, I'm not only, the potential franchisee is not only interviewing me, but I'm interviewing them just as much, if not more, right?
Yeah.
Because it's in my best interest, to have a successful franchisee. And if I see that the prospect doesn't have is not willing to learn or is not willing to change the mentality, the way we're trying to, the way we're trying to communicate it, it's probably not going to work. But so we're looking for the right people, and hopefully it's the right business.
Yeah, and the right people, as you said, the right people. Like 90% of what happens to us is between our ears, right? Exactly. Was it Woody Allen who said, like 80 or 90% is just showing up, the rest of, kind of ideas. So it's like, if you've got something in place and they actually just do it and do it and do it.
Trust the system. You trust the
whatever
system.
That is.
Trust the system. That's fine. If you're a control freak that needs to micromanage everything, it's probably not for you. Which is any business. You'd be a great,
controller at a company or something like that if you like to micromanage.
Right. But you can't really scale it. You can't
No.
really scale it. You can run a successful store, maybe like a neighborhood in a neighborhood, where you have to be there 18 hours a day. But that's not what we're trying to. I mean, there's nothing wrong against those hardworking people, but that's not really what we're trying to, bring to the world.
And that's, no, I appreciate it. I think we've had a great conversation. We talk about telling a different story, building a different business, and then how that foundation built something that is now franchising with like your own personal story. So I think that's a good place to wrap. What I always like to do at the end is just ask, any parting advice, just any missing little nuggets for young entrepreneurs or people looking to sort of, get into the world of doing what you did and owning their own business and just, kind of doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, the biggest advice that I would probably give is to build a system, right? In your business, build a system. Be lazy in a good way. Now, I hope people understand what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Being lazy means that, you build a system that is working for you, not you working for the system.
Yeah.
Right? Because that way you'll be putting out fires all day long and you will not have time to grow and you will have not time for yourself and for your family and for your friends, right?
Yeah.
You build a system with the goal of the self-sufficient, well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
And there are tools that I have that can, we go into that probably for a week-long training, but specific tools and know-how on how to do that, right?
No, that's awesome. And I think that's awesome advice. The building systems and working systems is the way to go for sure. Yeah. And it's obviously my business when I was 23, 24 years old when I started and didn't know that stuff, had to learn I didn't know what I didn't know. And when I learned it, I went, holy crap, and started putting it in place and been a journey ever since. You found the same path and has made the success that you've got as well. So, just as a final wrap, if anybody wants to reach out to you, because you do actually have something for them to reach out for, if they're interested, if this helped them build their own current business, yay. If they're actually thinking, maybe I should reach out to Boris about what he's doing, what's the best place for people to get a hold of you and see what's available in this whole franchise world that's starting up?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a cleaning website, which is VepoClean.com, and there's a franchising website, right? It's VepoCleanFranchising.com. Yeah. There's a form on that website. Yep. Just fill out a form, and a very nice gentleman by the name of Braden, he will reach out and take it from there. Yeah. But it's VepoCleanFranchising.com.
Perfect. No, I appreciate that. So anybody listening, definitely take a look at that kind of stuff. And even if you're just running your own cleaning business of some sort, carpet made, anything like that, take a look at VepoClean.com. Look at the way that story and that foundation is now told on the website. Feels and looks differently. Start thinking, and the personalization, every picture on that website, pretty much almost every single picture is authentic, real staff. They're, they're not models, and some of them look like models. There's some, but they're well done pictures. But it's the staff of the company letting the customer feel what it's going to look like to have them in the home, letting the potential customer start the journey in their mind before they show up. All of these are little marketing tricks and tips that we talk about all the time that actually available in the book and stuff like that as well. Just thought processes to put that through your marketing. And Boris has nailed that really, really well. And we've enjoyed helping him with some of the stuff that we can help with over the last couple of years as well. But really appreciate the chat today, Boris. Thanks so much. I know everybody's going to get a ton out of this, and I hope a bunch of people reach out to you to learn a little bit more about the franchising as well. Thanks so much, man.
Thanks, John. Just the one final point is that your carpet cleaner, obviously a lot of your audience are carpet cleaners. So we for the past 2 years we leverage maid service to market carpet cleaning, and you can do the same thing, right? Yeah, you can go from carpet cleaning customers to the maid service customers. I mean, it's a
great expansion. It's the same
completely professional carpet cleaning, which is we're the only company in the area, we're the only ones, because I did a lot of shopping for my own building. We're the only company in the area that's IRC certified. Yeah. Nobody bothers. It's amazing. That's mind-boggling to me. So
it is, and it gives you
professional maid service and the carpet cleaning, and we're the best in both worlds. So
No,
Yeah,
all
so-
and yeah, there is a synergy with growth. There's sometimes you in a community you can go deep into the one and build the
Right.
business. Other times you go wide and you add other components as well, like you've done. So no, that's great. Yeah, we do get a mix. A lot of carpet cleaners, but we made services as well. So it's a good mix of cleaning and stuff like. We even get some people that own janitorial companies and all that stuff, and pressure washers watching the podcast. I get messages from all of those. So any of you guys, there's a bunch of nuggets here that you've heard from us a bunch of times that Boris has just reiterated and said, hey, it's worked for him as well. So hopefully you took a lot out of this, and I really appreciate it, Boris, as always. Thanks so
John.
much, brother.
Thanks for
And
having me.
yeah, till next time, everybody, take care and
Thank you.
happy
Bye.
marketing.